wanted to multiply to have a 0 at the end. But that's why these at least made sense. There would be a 0 at the end, they just weren't enough.
So you want to
See, I have a
have,
lot of little clues in the problem itself.
you want to have two numbers that can multiply by themselves to equal 0. A number that has a 0 at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you actually have to do that? No, but it might make it quicker. So the more you're comfortable with numbers, period, the easier a problem like this is.
Jeff did it a different way, and I.
How'd you do it?
I put 5a squared plus 3, and then 4a squared plus 5.
Where'd that come from?
Because if you multiply,
So again, some of you guys might do trial and error.
It came up.
I doubt that, now, it might be true. You could just look at this and know. And then I'm jealous. Like your brain just is wired to do that.
I
I'd
got
love
the same
that.
answer you did. I came out with
Well, eventually you're gonna get the same amount. I haven't gotten an answer
yes,
yet.
to me, I did it the same way. To me, it's easier than
it
doing it
got
this
easier
way.
for me.
I love it.
But
Always?
either way is
Always
fine.
for every problem?
No,
No,
And you don't have to do any work? Like you knew it was 5 and 4. Why wasn't it 10 and 2? Why wasn't it 20 and
because then
1?
you have to kind of think something that gives 15, which is 3
3 and
times 5 is 15, and then if you have 5 times 5 is 25,
Plus
the
12
plus the
gives
12,
you
that gives you 37.
I love it.
squared.
Cool. And the more comfortable you are with numbers, the more that will work. What I want to do in general is just show you something that will work always.
Yeah, I knew, I thought you had to do it this way.
Alright. So again, guys, the more comfortable you are with numbers, the more you know, the less you gotta do. That's one of my favorite sayings in math, that especially works. The more you know, the less you gotta do. So the more you know how numbers work together, the less work you have to do in this kind of problem. The less comfortable you are with messing with numbers, the more you want to do it this way. Because then it's a very prescriptive way to do it.
I believe that the easiest way is to factor 300.
Okay, sure. See, we got
And
competing
I
thoughts.
choose-
Thank God you got a teacher that is flexible. As long as you show me what you're doing, don't just have the answer come out of nowhere. Show me something. Show me some thought process. Don't just have the answer plop. I'm like, okay, where did it come from? Right? There are calculators that will factor this for you, which always makes students go, well, why do we have to know how to do it? Well, you want the calculators to rule us one day, right? The TI 9000, that's going to be the Terminator. You know, no, I don't want that to happen. We're the humans. We should know what the hell's going on, right? So let's finish this out this way.
So you just
So
plug
we
in
got
25 and 12 with it.
25 and 12. So I can break this up. Plus 25a what?
12a squared.
25a squared. It's got to be the same. 12a squared.
Plus 15.
And then you can group it. So as a teacher, you can see why I like this method. Because if you're not comfortable with numbers, I'm hoping that by doing this step and figuring this out, it's going to make you a little more comfortable with how numbers work. And also, it helps you reinforce how to do grouping, right? So that's why I like this method.
so
I don't personally do it this way. Believe me, like we're saying, the more you understand numbers, the easier this should be. I think I understand numbers pretty well. So I got a funky ass way that it works that I love. And I can show some of you guys, if you're able to do this without doing it this way, I can show some of you guys, if you want to come to my office, I can show you. It's called the Texas Slide. Of course, it's got some funky ass name. Right. Anyway, how do I finish this out? What comes out of these two?
5.
5 and A.
And how many A's?
5 squared.
1 A.
A squared.
Oh, A squared.
Two
I'm
A's.
sorry. Yeah.
So I get 4A squared plus 5. What comes out of there?
You can have
Three.
3 and it's
4A
4A
squared plus
squared
5.
plus 5.
So then, like you said, cool. I am never, ever going to tell you not to do it a different way that's easier for you to do it, right? As long as that involves you doing the work, right? So if you have a different way you do it, you do not have to do it this way. You can do it the way you know.
This is the question for all the practice test.
Well, real quick, any other ones about this here?
I did like that also last night. I was just guessing, but you expect us to have like something written down on paper.
Yeah, so maybe show me a few of the guesses that didn't work. On the side, do a little side work and then box your actual answer up. So I can see that there was some thought process going on. Because you could take this problem and just start saying, okay, maybe it's a 2 and 10 there, and then maybe 15 is 3 and 5, and then you check to see if the middle term, nope, and then you keep going. Right? And that's fine. And the more you understand numbers, the easier this will be. You don't have to try out every combination because you kind of know what you need to have happen, which is sort of like what you're saying over there, Suzanne. Okay. So I desperately want you to understand, this is the way that will work for most people. Because most of us in here are not the most comfortable with numbers in general, right? And I don't mean everybody isn't, but I mean a lot of us aren't. But if some of you are, hell yeah, do it some other way. It's just playing with the numbers because you feel more comfortable to play with the numbers. I love it.
But when I remember when I took the last semester, the other class, that's how I first figured out the way you're teaching it now. But then when he started making the arrows, oh, you multiply these times this, and like that, I could
love it.
visualize it right away.
I love
don't
it.
know if that will help the students. But that's how I was learning at first, and I said, oh, this is getting complicated. And once he pointed, oh, you multiply this times this,
Yes.
then he gave me the clue right away.
Okay, okay. You mean like this times this here?
Yes,
Okay.
you know how I'm kind of explaining that you multiply this times this, and he showed the arrows, and that clicked in my mind
I
very
love it.
easily.
And, you know, it's just like anything. Just like anything. Why do two people who paint, why are their paintings why don't they look the same? Because they have different approaches and different ways of looking at it. So if you look at it a certain way, if your brain is kind of predisposed, you might pick up on a different method than what I'm showing. Maybe it comes off of what something I do or something somebody else did. I love it. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. I love it. You're almost to the point where you should start making math your own. There are some basic ideas of math, but then you can make it your own. You say, okay, I understand the idea, but this is quicker, and it's legal. So do it that way. Yeah.
Own the math, don't let the math own you.
66. Okay. Now this one, if you wanted to, what's kind of bad about this one?
Rearrange it?
Yeah, it's out of order. But I want to show you a reason why you might want to leave it this way. What comes out of all three? The 2. You could take a -2 out, right? Because our biggest thing is at the end. We're not used to that. I could put it in the front. But then what would be in the front of this? If I took a -2, there would be a 15. Right? Which makes it seem like maybe it's more hard. But what's in front if I take a 2 out and leave this here? 1 minus 2.
Minus 15.
Now what's the only way to factor 1? So the 2
1.
comes for the ride.
One.
What has to be in the front here is a 1 and a 1.
1.
I'm assuming they're whole numbers here, right?
That's easy.
And then what factors of 15? -15. Add the b.
5 to 3.
Yeah, 5 and 3. Now what do I need on those though to make R4?
R
R
squared.
squared.
R square. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Why does this work though? What's the middle term? R squared.
Half of
So
the third.
half of this. So your biggest power must be twice the one in the middle for it to work, right?
Is that like the
Because what do I do
ABC?
with this always? Don't I cut in half? Okay.
I don't think we covered, did we cover the A, B, the way it's set up? If it's set up a certain way, A, B, and C or something?
Well, that's on that little handout again, ax squared plus bx plus c, right?
Right.
So we did if a equals 1, it's easier. If a not equal to 1, then we have a few different ways to do it, right? Cool. But this is one where, if I would have turned it around, I would have thought the first term is 15, and then I might start doing it that way. When actually, there's only one way to factor 1. That's why this is going to be easier. There's only one way to do that. Why was this one harder? Because how many ways is there to factor 20 and 15? Several. Right? So I'm not sure which one is going to make it work. Here, it's got to be 1 and 1. Which one of these has got to be negative
5.
to make it come out negative? Yeah, the bigger dude. Minus and plus.
There's something, I forget.
That 2 is done. It just comes for the ride. So don't let him mess you up. Yeah.
So you can rearrange that to...
You could. No, I'm not saying you can't. Hell yeah. I'm just saying I wouldn't. But if you did, you could take like a -2 out, right? So then that would become positive 15 plus 2r minus 1, right? R squared.
No, I meant, I raised it to -30 R4 minus 4 R squared.
Good. And you should still take a 2 out, right?
That's not what I got.
Well, you don't have to do that either, really. So what'd you do? Or this, or put that out front, and then what'd you do from there?
I did the
You did this here?
column error. I did the column error.
Oh, you used to try, okay. That'll work, yeah, cool.
But I didn't factor out negative, I didn't factor any two.
At the very end, you should, because you're gonna end up with something that's got negatives in both, right? In fact, you should end up with something that's got -2 in both. I'll show you. So the trial and error method would be like, okay, 30, it could be 5 and 6.
Or 15 and 2.
And again, one of them's gotta be negative here, right? To make -30. R squared. And then 2 could be 2 and 1 here. But I get a 5 and a 12, that's not gonna make 4. So maybe the 2 goes there and the 1 goes there. Right?
Yeah.
And you go through that until you hit the right way to do it. And again, some of you guys are gonna look at that and go, I don't know, I don't think so. Some of you guys are gonna look at it and then go, well, yeah, I can do that. I can just take a guess and then modify it. Totally up to you. That's why we got so many ways to do these. It depends on how comfortable you are with playing with it, right? So the way, actually I was taught this way very first thing. And I kind of hate that they taught us this way very first thing, because they didn't let people that weren't comfortable with it do it different ways. So that's not going to work. So maybe 30, maybe it should be
Negative
15 and 2.
10 and 3, or
Yeah,
10 and 3.
negative 3.
Oh, the 3's got to be negative? Yeah, so eventually you get to the right combination, right? And what else you get? The 2's probably got to go here, right? And then the 1 there. So then you get -6 plus 10. Well, no, I guess.
They're both negative.
Oh, this is -2? No.
It's negative.
Oh, here.
3r squared minus 1. And then 10r squared minus 2.
Okay, gotcha.
So
So then you get your 6 minus 10 is -4.
So when you factor out the 2,
So do you see what's going on here? When you do trial and error, what do you have control over? You want to make a 30 show up. So it could be 10 and 3, or it could be 15 and 2, or it could be 6 and 5. And you want to make a 2 show up. So it could be 2 and 1, or 1 and 2. And then trial and error just says, do all those combinations, and as you're doing them, check to see if you get this in the middle. The minute you get this in the middle, you're done. Or at least you found out a factor. Now, is this done?
No.
What comes out of here?
Two.
A 2. And what comes out of here, really? A negative. That's not, wait, where's the?
That's not the answer.
No, that's fine. It is, it's the same thing.
It's just in a different order.
Different order.
I have a question about,
Do you see that?
yeah, I missed the 10 and the.
Okay. So I saw that a few times in the homework, though. Whenever you get to where you think you're done, you gotta make sure that nothing else can happen. Yeah.
How is that the same? 5r squared minus 1 and 1 minus 5r squared.
Because there's a negative, is there a negative out here?
Okay, alright.
So if I take the negative in, isn't it gonna turn that around?
Okay.
So those are the same, it's just different order. Yeah.
okay, so I'm remembering something from, if you have the 4 and then the 2, like double the exponent, then you can substitute something in there.
Oh, no, yeah.
We're not
You do
going there?
substitution, but there's no.
Are we going there?
Eventually we might.
Okay.
So let's do one with different power. That's a little more direct, I think. Just look at the different powers. So if I had x to the 10th minus 7x to the 5th, let's see, minus, I don't know, Jeff, 44.
Right.
So what's the first number?
1.
1. So this should be easy. And when you break this up, what do you put here and here?
1.
X, X.
Not xx, that's x squared. I want x10.
Right.
2 and 5?
x5, x5.
Oh, it's fine. Add, yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And thank God, do you see now why the middle term's got to be half of this guy?
Yeah.
Because the middle term's going to come from these. They got to be the same. So if this was a 6 here, I couldn't do this.
Prime?
So we say that this is, we call it, it's quadratic in form. The first guy is twice the middle guy.
Right.
Right? So to finish this out, what numbers work?
4 and 11.
4 and 11, yeah. Which one's got to be minus?
11.
The 11, so then it comes out minus at the end.
So you always take the larger sign to get the negative sign.
Yeah, whatever the middle guy is, so you have two different signs, that's the sign of the bigger dude.
Right.
If I wanna have negative left over, the bigger guy's gotta be negative.